Howdy ho, everybody. Hello. And I hope everybody is having a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. I hope you're enjoying yourself, getting ready for the holiday weekend, relaxing, going to see family, having a barbecue, sleeping, whatever you're doing. I hope you're enjoying it. And if it's not a holiday weekend for you because, you're not working or you're on vacation or whatever, I hope you're still enjoying it. I hope you're doing something that makes you overjoyed and very happy. So I'm doing something. I'm relaxing this weekend. I work part time, so I don't really get paid for the holiday, but I do get the holiday off. So it doesn't really matter. As long as I get the day off, I'm fine. So today I am going around doing errands, and my husband and I are going to go out tonight and share a pint and sit and talk and have a good time. Tomorrow I'll probably dill around the house a little bit, and Monday I'll probably just relax. Maybe he'll barbecue some ribs or something like that. My husband loves to grill out, and he's got all new stuff for the grill, so he's real excited to use it again and stuff because his grill, his shield in the bottom part of his grill had rusted to absolutely nothing and stuff, and so it was flaming up. But now he's got it, so he's ready to go and stuff. So we'll be having some grilled out food. And while we're on the subject of food and things like that, I want to talk about something today regarding marriage, and it's regarding the subject of interdependence, and it's not independence, and it's not independence, and it's not codependence, so it's not dependent and stuff, but it's something that needs to happen in marriage. And so I'm going to talk about it today. And I'm going to talk about the subject of cooking and women being able to cook. So you ask that question, girl, can you cook? And my usual answer would have been answered if I ever been asked that question. My answer would be no. But it's not that I can't cook. I actually can cook. And I want to talk about kind of this weird obsession that seems to be going on that I see in different places about men wanting a woman to cook, or women telling other women, to get somebody you have to be able to cook, which is just weird because I've never dated a guy or had a guy ask me, can I cook and stuff, never. In the many years of dating, my first husband never asked me if I could cook. My second husband never asked me if I could cook. The guys I dated, they've never asked me if I could cook. So I wonder about this sort of push and this requirement that women are telling other women and that men are telling other women about the ability to cook somehow being the be all end all of being a good wife, or, and stuff, which is kind of weird. So first, we're going to talk about interdependence and what that is. And the definition of interdependence is a relationship in which each member is mutually dependent on the other, okay, and stuff. And it is in marriage, it's important when you come into a marriage to be interdependent. Most of us, before we get married, are independent. We are, living on our own and stuff like that. Now, some of us actually are still dependent. Some of us come from a home. We're still living at home with mom and dad and stuff like that. So we can be dependent on them. And some of us are codependent, which is sort of a unfortunate or fortunate result of living in a house, kind of a really dysfunctional household with people who are addicted, or living in a relationship with a person who has addiction problems and things like that. So that can happen, and stuff. But most of us are coming from what is independent. It's not like people all of a sudden come into a marriage and they figure out how to be interdependent. That is not the sort of thing. You have to sort of work at it and stuff, because if you've been living by yourself or taking care of yourself, it can sometimes be sort of weird to have sort of any sort of dependence on another person. In my first marriage, we were not interdependent, and in that marriage I was independent and so was he. You cannot do two independent people in a marriage. It can't work. You can't be sort of a person that is, you're taking care of yourself. You don't feel like or don't want to take care of the other person, or you don't feel like you're being taken care of, so you feel like you're forced into the mode of taking care of yourself all the time, taking care of things. It makes it very hostile, contentious, and people build up a lot of resentment regarding that, because like I've said before, there are expectations coming into being married. People always have expectations of what marriage is going to be about and stuff, and you can't be independent. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have your own bank account, or you can't have your own credit card, or you can't have your own car, or you can't have come into something and you're living in your own home and stuff, and somebody moves into your home with you or something like that, or you can't have your own job or own money. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about independent in spirit, which is you're used to taking care of everything, making decisions for yourself, doing them on your own, not having to ask anybody about those decisions and the things you want to do. And you can't do that when you come into marriage. I have another person here. My husband, of course, that I'm married to, and he has a wife. And so there are things that we have to consult each other about and ask about. There's lots of money things about buying things, about making decisions about what you do regarding even work and jobs and stuff that you take on and stuff. There are decisions you have to make regarding children. Those are decisions that you have to make mutually and stuff. There are decisions regarding family and dealing with family and family situations. Those are things that you have to make mutually. When you come into a marriage, I'm going to tell you, this is, what's been said, essentially for people who are, believers, and people who are, have read the Bible. You know what it says. It says leave and cleave. That you leave, and essentially he's talking about that a man would leave his home, and he would take a wife and he would cleave to her. That you two are now becoming one when you're becoming married. It doesn't mean that you're still can't be, there's boundaries in marriage and stuff, and you're still two separate people, but really you are one. And so, you can't still be stuck in your independent ways from when you were single. You can't go dependent either. And dependent is just a person who is, they can't do anything on their own. They can't make decisions. They're scared to make decisions. They're scared to let go of maybe family and family issues and family. They can't let go of them, to come and be one with the person that they're married to. They're still dependent on them. They're dependent on them for support. They're dependent on them to tell them what to do. They're dependent on them for money and stuff. And you have to be really careful about taking money from parents or other family members. Personally, I'm a person that does not believe in asking for a bunch of money from family members. Now, I'm not saying that my mom doesn't give me money. There's lots of times my mom takes me out. There's lots of times she just gives me money for stuff. But I also give my mom money. So we go back and forth with that. If I'm out of money, if we're to have, maybe done something that's unwise, you're out of money, you've done something unwise regarding money, you say you need to buy something. I don't ask my mom to pay my bills. I don't ask my mom to, pay my car note. I'm not asking my mom to put a down payment on a house and all that sort of stuff. Now, there are lots of people who have parents that are wealthy that can give gifts like that and stuff, quote unquote gifts. But the thing sometimes about taking gifts from people like that is that you are now beholden to them and stuff. The thing about taking money from people is sometimes people want to control you, and you have to figure out whether or not what your family is giving you is an actual gift, or what it is that they're giving you is something for them to hang on to control you and stuff, and 9 times out of 10 it's usually a control issue, and there's no better way than to try to control people than via money and stuff. So you have to be very careful. If somebody's giving you a gift and there's nothing expected in return, I would certainly take the gift. That is certainly a blessing. But many times people give gifts in a way to keep you controlled and dependent. You can't be that person as an adult and married. You just can't still be looking to mom and dad or other family members to now take care of you and a wife or a husband and some kids. If you got children and stuff like that, you can't do that. That's unacceptable. And it makes for a contentious thing in your marriage, because there's the other person that's there that now feels like they're being controlled by these other entities and stuff. This ain't even their family. This is not even their, and essentially this is not their blood relatives and stuff. It's not really their family that they've come from and stuff. And so it's a really bad feeling to have to feel like you have to do stuff or be under the control of somebody else's, your in-laws, essentially, and all that stuff. So you have to be really careful about that and stuff, because it can really do damage to the interdependent relationship that you're supposed to have with your husband and stuff, or with your wife. And I'm telling this to men and to women and stuff. You cannot be dependent or independent, codependent, and be married. You're going to have a hard time. You have to leave those things of your past behind, come into the marriage to be together and stuff, and to work together and be mutually dependent upon one another. Now, whatever arrangement you make to do that is up to you and the other person. But you can't do all this stuff where the person doesn't know. And I'm just strictly talking about money, and I've talked about money before. You cannot hide money stuff. You can't. You cannot hide if you have a bank account where you're saving money and stuff, you cannot hide those sort of things. If you don't trust your spouse enough to, you all get a credit card with each other, or you all have a bank account with one another, or you won't tell them, listen, you two shouldn't even be married. Okay, you shouldn't marry anybody if you're so freaked out about them and what they're going to do that you can't trust them with. If you have money issues, if you have another account, say that you're saving money in and stuff, if you're keeping money secrets and all that sort of stuff, trust and believe that is going to blow up in your face at some point. Okay. And I've had it happen to me. So it's going to blow up and it's going to be bad. And, if you can't trust the person that you're with enough to say, you know what, I have this separate account, or I want to keep a separate account, or we're going to do this. That if that's what you're gonna do, then the other person shouldn't really have any issue or problem with it. But if you kind of keep secrets about that sort of stuff, if you're so afraid that they're gonna be mad, or they're going to take love away from you, or not want you to do that, then I suggest that you all shouldn't be married people in the first place. Now, how people deal with their money is up to them. Some people just have it in one account. Some people have two separate accounts and then a household account. It's just, it's kind of, and I mean, my house, we go back and forth. We have two separate accounts and we have a household account, and the money just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And my husband keeps a budget. I know everything about money. He knows everything that I do with money. I know everything that he does with money. Nothing's a secret. And when we're getting ready to make big purchases or do big things, then we talk to each other about, well, do we think we can do this? Do we think we can buy this? Is this something that you want? Maybe we need to save for this. Maybe we need to put this off, and all this stuff. It's never a secret. It's never a secret. And so I know all the bills that come into this house, and stuff. So it's never any secret. So it makes for interdependent living and stuff, and it cuts down on a lot of drama in a relationship. And I'm telling you, it took me some time to sort of be comfortable with being more interdependent on with him and stuff. It took me some time because I had come from such a bad situation with my ex-husband where money was always a problem, and he was very secretive and very sneaky with money and stuff, and really for myself, because I couldn't depend on him to do anything. I couldn't depend on him for anything, and stuff. And so I just took care of myself, when it came to money stuff regarding that marriage, because I really could not depend on him to do anything and stuff, and it wasn't like I had to go and ask people for stuff, but I was having a hard time. I was having a hard time a lot of time regarding money and trying to be independent, and not really. I made decisions without him all the time because I couldn't trust him. So I made decisions without him all the time, and would just make decisions that were within my own benefit and not within his. And that's just kind of the way it worked. And that's the way essentially one of the ways that you don't want your marriage to work. You don't want to have to do that. But if you can't trust a person, with stuff, or you can't trust that they're looking out, at some point you start not trusting that they're looking out for your best interests and stuff like that, then it kind of just morphs into that just all by itself. I'm going to talk a little bit, in interdependence about the cooking thing. And, like I said, I've never had somebody ask me if I could cook, but I swear if they did, I would just say no, because, and not because I can't cook, I can cook, but this sort of weird thing that's going on with, women, somehow men asking, well, can you cook? And, you're not. Listen, I've been married twice. I'm not some spectacular cook. I'm not a bad cook, but I'm not, I wouldn't call myself Julia Child either. Okay. I can cook. Usually I cook everything in one pot because I hate to try to watch 2 or 3 things at once. So usually everything is one pot cooking for me all the time. And maybe there's 2 if I have to cook rice or something over to the side and all this stuff. But everything's always in one pot and everything, or in a crock pot or something like that. That's the way I've always done it and stuff, And I would cook sometimes when I was married to my ex-husband. I cook sometimes now. My husband likes to cook. He really loves to cook and stuff. And it's one of the things that he loves to do. So he likes to cook. Now, he's an engineer, so when he cooks, it's very elaborate. There's lots of plans. He wants things to be perfect, and he puts them together in a way that they are perfect. He makes spaghetti and makes spaghetti sauce, and it takes 4 hours. I make spaghetti, and it takes 30 minutes. Okay, so we're those kind of people. I want to cook really, really fast and stuff, but he takes his time, and he cooks things the way he wants them because he likes good food. I don't know if he thinks my cooking is bad or good. I don't really care. That's what you were going to get. I was never a chef, never told you I was a chef. It was never something that he required. As with most mature people, he wanted more and deeper things out of a relationship than somebody that can cook. You can learn how to cook. You know, anybody can learn how to cook. That's not it. Anybody can learn how to cook and stuff. But, you know, if he's asking you, and guys, if you're asking women, if that the first thing out of your mouth is whether she can cook or throw down in the kitchen, or do you know how to make greens or macaroni and cheese or whatever and stuff, it's ridiculous. It's just the most ridiculous thing ever. And you know, well, could you, oh, well, it's not like my mama. Listen, you don't live with your mama no more. Okay. You know, you live in the house with your wife. You don't live with your mama no more, you know, and stuff. And so this sort of nostalgic thing that men are wanting, some men are wanting, and some women are trying to give, of cooking like his mama, is just really cut the apron strings. Okay. You don't live in the house with your mom no more. Okay. And I'm not trying to make stuff like your mama. You know, people ask, well, you know, maybe tell women, well, you know, you should go and ask his mom how to make his favorite dishes. What? Yeah, no. No. Okay. If he want to learn how to make the favorite dishes that his mom made when he was a kid, he need to go ask his mama, and he need to make them himself. Okay. Remember, things have evolved. Women aren't, you know, it's not like most women are staying home all day, you know, cooking and making stuff really nice when he gets home. Most women are working, and then they're coming home and stuff, you know, maybe to kids, maybe not to kids, but people are working, and nobody's got time to sit over a stove and make a all night and all day dinner and stuff, you know, and I'm not saying go to McDonald's every day or whatever, go out and eat every day, but you know, let's be reasonable. She can't do that. Um, and to ask her or somehow shame women into thinking if you don't cook really well, you know, if you don't make the best macaroni and cheese or greens or black eyed peas or whatever, or fried chicken or whatever it is and stuff, and if you don't make it like my mom made it, then you're really not a worthy candidate for marriage, is just ridiculous. It's tantamount ridiculous, you know, and stuff. And I'm gonna say, if you hear a man say that, listen, I would tell him to go home and live with his mama. Okay, you know, I mean, I'm not your mom. You left her, and remember, we in a marriage, you leave and cleave. Hey, you're gone, you know, and stuff. It's not gonna be like it was at home for anybody and stuff. This is a new home that you all are making together. It's not gonna be like it was when you was living at house, or living at the house with your mom and dad. Okay, it's not ever gonna be that way again. And I'm not going as a woman to ask somebody's mama how to make his favorite meals. I don't really care. You ask your mama how to make it. Listen, there was stuff that my mom made that I loved. And you know what I did? I asked my mama how to make it, and I make it for him sometimes. And he likes some of the stuff. But I was not going to ask somebody's mom how to make his favorite dishes. It's just stupid. I'm when I heard the suggestion, I was once for from somebody, I was just like, you know, I just did kind of like, really, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. And I would never do it, and would never suggest anybody do it. And I wouldn't suggest that women, as mothers, you suggest your daughter do that, or you somehow ask your daughter to make sure that she can really cook good so she can get a man. Mature men know better than to ask another mature woman something like that. And I've seen men ask. I've been on Twitter and had men ask, and women are always trying to defend their cooking abilities. And I'm just thinking to myself, why? Why does it matter? First of all, you ain't even cooking for him. Okay, you know, and that, you know, men ask that, and women are trying to make sure that they can say that they're the best cook in the whole wide world. And I'm just thinking, okay, why? What for? You know, and If you're making your daughter into some kind of Hazel the maid or whatever, and stuff, and let me just say thank you to my mom for never making me that, needy and, codependent and stuff, that I'm thinking I need to run around and be Hazel the maid to be a perfect wife and stuff, because my mom was never that. My mom was just, she could, she cooked, and my dad cooked too and stuff, so it was never, my mom was never that, and she never trained me to be that. And if I ever had a daughter, I would never train her to be that and stuff. Some people like cooking, some people don't like cooking and stuff, and to somehow train your daughters to do that, thinking that that's going to somehow hook them a man, which really is not hooking nothing, because women are cooking for men that are not interested in marrying them. They're just living in the house with them, getting good food and getting all the benefits of being a husband with none of the responsibility, okay, and stuff. And you've just trained her how to be a doormat, okay, and stuff. And so I'm eternally grateful to my mother for not training me to do that. Okay. I took up cooking at a point when I decided I like to cook. So I did it for me, and stuff. I wasn't doing it so I could hook some guy and stuff. I did it because, I lived on my own. I've lived on my own for a long time before. I had to know how to cook, and stuff, but I did it because it was something I wanted to do. And there's stuff that I like to cook. And then there's other stuff I have no interest in cooking and stuff. There's stuff that my husband cooks that I find fantastic, way better than when I cook it. And then there's other stuff I cook that, he wants to figure out how to cook, or I think, hey, I cook this better than you, so I'll cook this and you cook that, and we'll be happy. We'll be interdependent. We'll be mutually dependent on each other when it comes to cooking and when it comes to food. That's how marriage should work. Okay, not this thing of you training somebody to be some, absolute, Hazel the maid, absolute fantastic cook. There are 10 million women out here that are married that can't cook a thing. So it's not as important as you think, ladies, gentlemen too. There are thousands of, millions of women I see who can't boil an egg and are happily married, and the men are happy with their wives because mature men are not trying to look for the experience they had with their mama, okay, when it comes to their wife and stuff. So, it's not really as important as people would like to act like it is, or like to think it is, or push that sort of thing on women. I would never push that sort of thing on women, on, and stuff, telling them that crap about being able to cook is some whatever. That's, no way. You'd never hear that from me, ever. If you want to cook, cook. If you don't want to cook, then, find you somebody that likes to go out every day or likes to cook, and stuff. It's not impossible. I know tons of guys that are like to cook, all my brothers. And the weird part is, as much as my mom didn't teach me, wasn't really this thing kind of pushing on me, be a great cook and all this stuff, all my brothers know how to cook. All of them and stuff. And usually within their households, they're the ones that cook, because my mom taught them how to cook and stuff. I don't feel bad. Doesn't make me feel less of a woman because I'm not some fantastic cook and all this stuff. I'm not less of a woman and stuff. And I wish women would stop making other women feel bad about this, or telling other women this false notion that you have to be a great cook somehow to be a great wife and stuff. And I wish men would get over the thing of wanting stuff to be the way it was when they lived at home with their mom, and stuff and all that stuff. Dude, them times is gone. I'm not your mama. I'm not planning on being your mama. Okay. It won't be happening and stuff, so men need to let that notion go, and everybody needs to come into the notion that you are building a life and a home together as interdependent people, and stuff, and and you're building a home in the way that you need to build it and stuff, not outside of when you were living independently or living at home with parents and stuff. It's different. So that's my spiel on interdependence today. I hope that helped you. I'll be talking again pretty soon about a shopping trip I had that was most interesting. And so I'll be talking pretty soon about that. And so I'll talk to you guys later, and have a good weekend, okay, and a good Saturday. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.